I did.
Yeah. All right. Well, while Dylan finds that information, welcome back or welcome to the Hit Factor podcast. I just started recording. Sorry about that.
Perfect.
You got to still find the information because we're going to get to that. A couple of things. Obviously, you've been enjoying the weekly episodes that this podcast has been producing. Because we do them every week. That's a joke because this rotating, what was it? The rotating host panel of hosts is an excellent idea and it's been working perfectly. So we're on that. It's been a little while, but welcome back. We're here with Saul. Saul is here. Couple little update things. World Shoot's coming up. Everybody's going to be there except for our guest. But that's okay. It's understandable for reasons.
It's not understandable. No. Not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. That's coming up here soon. Jeff and Jeremy are going to be there. There's a lot of training, a lot of shooting that's been going on to prepare for that, everywhere. My hands might be tired from loading magazines, lots of things. So anyway, we're here. We have a guest. It's a good one. And we'll cover this. Oh, this is great. Yeah, so we'll cover this really quick. Dylan's transition between two targets was a 26. Very important to note. No one will understand what that means, but it was...
Mike Wings was a 23.
Oh, it was
but
23.
The overall winner was a 27.
Yeah.
So
you beat the winner. If we isolate the most important part of the match, you're kind of the winner.
I'm kind of the winner. On a 3-yard target, maybe 2 yards?
2 yards?
Yeah.
There's hardcover on those.
True hardcover. 2-yard hardcover targets, faster transition than the winner. So, who really won?
Who really won? And
for 4 or 5 majors this year, Dylan really won.
Yeah, exactly. You may know, you probably clicked on this podcast because you saw Dylan's name and you're like, oh, that's the guy that was beating me and everyone else in limited optics and carry optics at all of these area matches, and that's who he is. I should probably click on that and listen to it. And to that person, hello. And I don't know, you haven't been shooting for that long. By the way, this is Dylan Poulin from the Northeast area, correct?
Yes. Massachusetts.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Massachusetts, New Hampshire.
Yep.
He plays slow pitch softball professionally.
Totally. It's co-ed slow pitch softball. It's not professional. So I know you gave that face. Like, are you serious? No, it's co-ed.
No. There's other things going on in the vicinity. I'm responding to many inputs.
Oh, great. Saul is an amazing multitasker. Totally possible.
I can fail simultaneously at up to 7 tasks.
Yeah, very few can. Anyway, so Dylan, really quick. We're not gonna go too deep in this, because someone at some other point will have you on and ask you these questions.
Dave Riddle will have you on. We'll learn all about your favorite movies and long walks on the beach. You'll explain your history of how you got into competitive shooting and this.
Yeah.
And that. But give us the bio, a regional gun manufacturer was going to sponsor you. What would they put on their website?
Brief bio. I shot my first match 2019. It was the typical concealment Glock X300 T-Rex holster, thinking, cool. I think I shot 2 matches that year. Then COVID hit. So I think I shot maybe 1 or 2 in 2020. 2021 hit, shot a good amount of matches, but was only shooting matches, never really practicing, just shooting matches. Actually, after the 2020, and I did the same thing in 2022, 23 hit, I actually debated on stopping shooting.
You started shooting PCC.
Well, that's just, I was bored. But
that's what I'm saying is you were hard stuck and you're like, man, I don't even know what to do. I don't know. I'll play with a rifle.
I was bored. That's exactly it. And then 24 hit, and I kind of got the itch again, and that's when I really started actually practicing, going to the range, practicing, dry firing a decent amount, actually thinking about training. Like beforehand, truthfully, it was go to the matches and just have fun, shoot. So 24 was really when the
Yeah.
training really started, and then 25 obviously continued, and here we are.
And here we are. And do you,
So he's really only been shooting for a year. Is the real story. So if he beat you, raise your hand. If he beat you, he did it after only really shooting for a year. I took a Steger class with you 3 years ago, dude. That was in 2022. You were already really good.
Well, thank you.
But you weren't polished like you are now. Like, yeah, you actually shoot really similarly. You just shoot way more consistently, and like the level of refinement to your stage execution is absolutely top notch. You don't move any faster now. It's not like you're more efficient than you were when you were an M-class CO shooter 3 years ago. But everything, like the whole package, is there now.
yeah,
go ahead.
No, it's like Saul says, like, I think the word polished is pretty good because that's what it looks like when you shoot. Like, everything seems really like you don't have to try to do anything, and you just do the execution of the stage. And that's very obvious watching you shoot. It's like a lot of people who are really good, you watch them shoot and you're like, well, maybe I could do that, but you really can't because you can't do it over and over again at stages. Um, and so that's something I didn't know that you took that class in 2022 until Saul mentioned it to me today earlier, with Steger there.
Yep. That was
Um,
that was the first class, and actually, I took one with Mason last year,
cool.
just at the local range. So those are the two.
Those are the two.
Yep.
And then this year is this year the first year that you went out and won majors?
Yes. Yeah.
And so like 2024, what anything there?
2024 was, I mean, it was just like class winning. It's not like actual winning. I know
Yeah.
that may hurt some feelings, but yeah, that's kind
Good.
of
Hurt
yes,
them.
yes. That's kind of how it was. Just class winnings. Last
Okay.
year, I think I shot, I want to say 4, 5 majors. I mean, New Hampshire State's local, Area 7's local, Trident's local. I think the only one I traveled for last year was Mid Atlantic, and that's PA. So
Yep.
this year, I think it's going to be 8 majors at the end of the year.
Yeah. Wow.
So
And you're going to RaceCon Nationals. Somebody gave you a slot.
Yes.
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 You belong there. I mean, you're going to be one of those debutantes who hits the super squad their first year. Like, if you shoot like yourself and don't psych yourself out, like, if you look at the national field, that's going to happen. I don't know if you're going to win it, but you're going to be there.
I mean, let's hope, right? Let's hope.
Well, now, I don't know. There's a lot of people who hope something else. They're also shooting that match.
Yeah, and then so you came out this year and you won. What'd you win?
Area 7, Area 8, Mid Atlantic, Trident.
Yeah, and many of those matches you did the combined slide ride win as well.
Yes, I did lose to somebody at Area 7.
Oh, sorry.
Wherever you are on the screen.
Although, in your defense at Area 7, and no shade to Mr. Beal, but on your first stage, and this is actually a thing that I'm going to like bug you about in a little bit because I really want to see if I can get you to be honest, because I don't think you'll be honest, but I'll try. On your first stage, you donated 55 points to the field. You couldn't keep the gun loaded for 16 seconds on like a 5-6 factor stage. And then you finished the stage fine once you could get the mag to stay in. That didn't really affect your performance for the rest of the day.
Yes, it affected my mental a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Right at the beginning, like I was frustrated for sure. But I don't. But it didn't.
But how did that get expressed in terms of what you did in the next stage?
It hopefully didn't.
Didn't. I mean, we were squatted with you. It didn't.
Yeah.
Like, and so this is the thing is you're like a really interpersonally when you talk about your shooting, like as long as I've known you, just a few years, you like to run yourself down, and every stage is this mistake and that mistake. My interpretation of you, and so you tell me if I'm wrong, is that's like total bullshit. That's just like your official match line, and what's going on in your head has nothing to do with what you say. You don't want to talk about your performance. You're like busy doing Dylan stuff, so you just say a bunch of negative shit so people will leave you alone, and then you go about your business.
That is, I would say, 95% of it. Yes, I don't want to talk.
And I think other people hear that and they think, man, Dylan's really negative. He's really down on himself. I'm like, he doesn't shoot like someone who's really down on himself. People who are really down on themselves, they get really tense, they overtry, they like turtle up and like shoot careful alphas. That's like what people who are actually down on themselves. So it's like what you say about your performance is completely delinked from whatever your actual performance process is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And most of the time, to be fair, like, yes, I would say I do thrive off negativity a little bit. Like, I actually am negative to myself a lot of the time. So like that is a front a little bit, more or less, because I'm just like, I don't want to talk about it. Move on. Like, let's chat about something different. But I've always kind of been a person that thrives a little bit on negativity. So even like I do something wrong, like for example, I was just chatting with Kyle before and we were talking about overrunning a position. Like it's the little stuff like that in the match and during that time, I actually am a little negative on it. And to be fair, that's like it works for me. I don't know why. I thrive off negativity a little bit, for right or wrong.
But you take that, so you overrun the position on your second stage. Does that affect your programming for your third stage?
No.
Are you programming your next entry more carefully?
Truthfully, no. It's like the same, going through it the exact same way. I don't do anything different or try to program more. It's go through your process. So my thing is like when you do those mistakes, I think those are places you fix in practice more than anything rather than matches. So like I'm not going to the next stage changing on how I think. I just kind of go to the next stage and do what I should be doing, want to do the whole time.
I think that's a pretty valuable piece. And it looks so. What it is like watching you shoot and watching you between stages is the same. Like you just look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Where or like whatever conversation that I have with you is the same. Not saying that like I like talking to you at matches, and but what I'm saying is that makes sense to me with that element that you're not changing things where you will go and on the super squad you'll see people change things from stage to stage, and a lot of people do because they're like, oh, I need to correct this major thing that just happened now, and yeah, to hear you say that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I've been 1.5 seconds behind the winner on the last 3 stages. I need to do something different on the 4th stage.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense though. If you need to make a change to do that, but like truthfully, most of the time, especially like for the example we're talking about, first and second stage of the match, third stage of the match, like I'm not really going to the next stage trying to do something different. You know what I mean? Mentally, just kind of try to lock back in.
Maybe download your Mags one.
Maybe not what?
Maybe download your Mags one.
Yeah, seriously. I didn't do
How
that.
did you develop that how did you I know you in your guys' area, people don't realize this about Massachusetts and they might know about New Hampshire, but there are a lot of matches and there's like a lot of people out there who take it pretty seriously and are showing up every week. How did you develop that process? Like that's from what you were doing when you were going around in 2022, 2023, just shooting matches to having like a process that reflects what you do in training?
I wouldn't say it's so much a process change. I would say it's a kind of a goal change more than anything. The process itself, like truthfully, I don't really think about the process all that much. As crazy as that sounds, it's more of a goal thing. So the switch flipped and I just wanted to compete more and get better. And that's kind of what it came down to more than anything, more than a process change.
So does having Kyle and Frank next to you, does that help?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Yes.
Because I think it's boosted Kyle tremendously.
Yeah. I think it's boosted all of us tremendously, to be honest.
All of you.
I think the 3 of you guys got really good really fast versus a normal trajectory because there was 2 other people who, if you coasted on anything, they would clip you.
Yes. And we all want to beat each other as much as we don't say it like going to matches. But anytime we're at a match, we all want to beat each other at all times. And it just goes unsaid. We all know it. So it's a good thing. It's a positive. So,
That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
and you need that. In my opinion, you need that wherever you are. If you want to actually get better, you have to have a group of people that, whether in a perfect world, they're probably better than you and you get to actually push and be better. So, like,
That would be
it's,
perfect.
yeah, it's fun when, not that Mason comes around very
Poor
much.
Jay. Jay won his first match in Maine and has never been pushed since. Never once.
Oh no.
I can keep up with him for 3 stages if he has a mic, and then it's over.
So when you say, Dylan, when you say it was a goal thing, what's that goal thing then? Instead of like you're like, fine, my process is pretty simple, like I just do that, whatever, I don't have to think about it. Um, what's the goal piece for you?
It was more wanting to win, is really what it
You
comes down to. Yeah. And just,
okay.
and be able to compete more with the better, like the best people is really what I want to do. And I'm not there. I'm not saying like I'm there. That is what I want to do though. Is I just want to compete with the best people. And
Okay.
that's just, it's a very broad and big goal, but that's, I think you guys both know me by now. I'm pretty simple. So a big broad goal is all I really need. So
Well, but that's, yeah, that's
that's
all
fun.
you need. And to, and so like I imagine you use that in training
Yeah.
as far as like what motivates you to train or any of that. But do
Yep.
you use that at matches as well? Like what?
Yes.
Okay, so what's that like? How do you use that at matches?
I'm always a person who kind of looks to see who's going, and I will mentally pick the people that I really, really want to beat. Um,
Mm.
that's how my brain works. It's always a. I know everyone kind of says like, just shoot your game and worry about yourself. I don't work like that at all. Like you have to do that at the same time. But I work in a world where I want to compete. In order to compete, you've got to look at the competition. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Now I feel flattered because for like 30 seconds a couple of years ago, I was someone you wanted to beat. Now I'm way in your rear view. But I remember like you came up to me after a match where I bombed the last stage, and you're like, I almost lost to you. And you were like mad at me about it. And I was like, I wasn't even tracking your scores, dude. But like in your head, you were like, I'm better than Saul. I got to beat Saul. And it came down to the last stage to beat me. Maybe that was only last year.
It was last year, New Hampshire State.
Yeah.
I remember doing it.
Yeah, because you're like, I have to finish at it. Saul only beat me by like 7 points or something. But now I'm way behind you, so now we can have fun.
Well, so it's so I got two questions for that. When you are off squad, so if you're not on the squad with those people, is it then through practice scoring you're kind of like who shot yesterday, whose scores am I comparing against, or what is that what it
Yeah,
is, or is it like looking at the match beforehand and knowing?
it's both. So looking at the match beforehand and knowing like who you actually want to compete with. So most of the time, like I don't follow scores super in depth with practice score. Basically, what I'll do is and I don't do this every time. I don't have a set system by any means. It's kind of go with the flow. Whatever I feel that day is good with me. I would say majority of the time in a major, I will pull up practice score after shooting a match and see where that score landed against who you're kind of
Oh,
competing with. Yeah.
okay. So after you shoot a stage, you're like, what was that stage run like
Yep.
compared to these people who have already shot?
Yep.
Did you shoot Area 8 on Friday?
I shot it. No, I shot it after all those guys that,
okay.
like JJ and all them. Yeah. So
had you already looked at their scores and you sort of knew where you wanted to finish?
So I didn't look at their scores beforehand to see exactly where they finished. It was more of like doing what I just did of kind of just
Stage by stage.
looking, yeah, stage by stage. That's what I did.
So you roll up. You weren't like getting a full picture of their scores prior to.
No, sometimes I can psych myself out if I do that. So I
Okay,
try to avoid that.
so is this so that it's more of because my second part to this question is what like you do that, but also you stay very level where you're not pulled away from you're not making changes on the next stage. Like if you see a result that you don't like on a stage compared to people who have already shot it, then on the next stage you're not making these big changes. So is this where if you're only looking at it stage by stage and not in full picture, that allows you to just work on only the next stage?
Yeah,
Is
kind of
that
just in my thoughts, it lets you just kind of do your thing. So like not psych yourself out too much. And this is something I kind of need to work on. Like for example, Area 5. Like I knew day 1 I was definitely down. So day 2, like in a perfect world, I need to push, and that push gear is something I don't really have yet.
You clawed your way back about 5 or 6% on day 2 from what your trajectory was. I looked at your trajectory after day 1 and I texted Kyle and I was like, this is not a Dylan match. Like I picked you as the winner for Area 5 going into it, like mentally, not out loud, but to anyone who would listen. And then after day 1, it's like he's on track for like 88, 90, and I think he finished 96 and change.
Yep.
So it's like you had a big day 2.
Yeah, but truthfully, I still didn't push. I just kind of shot my normal game, and it was.
Was it mistakes on day 1 or?
Yeah, I had
Okay.
three mics on day 1, and it
I
was.
mean,
Kind
they
of
were
just one
all
of those-
doubles. They were all perfect
doubles.
doubles, but
Yeah, they were all doubles. It was just kind of like one of those. We all have them as much as we don't want to have them. It was just even a good stage. I was a second behind, and it was like I'm not sure what's going on today. So it was kind of like
No, I can't relate to that. That's never happened to me.
yeah, it's not just all.
I wish, right? So, yeah, it was kind of just put it in the past. Is really where my head was. Easier
So
said
I
than
mean,
done.
this is. I think it's talked about quite a bit, but pushing is such a fine line on what that means, and to some people it may just mean doing what you already do, just doing it better instead of like doing it more.
Yeah, and truthfully, like a lot of people push by changing their stage plans and taking more on the move. When in reality, a lot of my stage plans I'm already trying to do that anyway. So it's not.
Oh,
like
you shoot on the move so much. I dislike shooting with you because you tempt me into shooting things on the move that's just my actual style. I should just stand there, shoot the things, and run to the other spot. Like it'll score better for me. But for you, yeah, well, yes, for you, but it's not for me.
It's I don't know. It's like anytime I can move, I'm trying to move at all times.
Oh, you do the continuous shooting thing, yeah,
Yeah,
very very well.
Yeah,
like the gun is up a lot.
and to be fair, that's a lot of my practice, So
yeah, I mean that and really clean execution is why you have times that hang with the best in the match, or like that are there.
yeah.
It's because of clean execution, and it's because you're just being really efficient, like all the time.
And the clean execution is still something. I mean, we all struggle with it. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But it's still something I struggle with. Where sometimes, like the Red Dot Rumble match. I'm sure most people don't know what it is, but it's a 10-stage, essentially a local match. But 10 stages are good. It brought like 200 people in. I still was having stages with 4, 5, 6 makeups on a stage, which is just kind of unacceptable. I'm struggling a little bit in the execution, and it's really the makeups. That's where I struggle big time. I tend to have a lot of makeups on particular stages.
So what are you making up?
One in particular stage was 2 barrel hits that I was trying to take on the move, per usual. So I made them up, had 2 alpha, it was fine. Steel is another one, and it can be even big poppers, like the big steel poppers. I'm still missing those, and it's just kind of trying to cruise through them rather than actually picking a spot. It's something I always struggle with. And then there was another stage that had, and this was just a weird stage. It was 2 to the body, 1 to the head. It was 3 per, 2 to the body, 1 to the head. And this was the last stage of the match. I knew I had to win the stage to win, and I had 4 shots on one of the headshots. So it was, of course, you get home and kind of do the what ifs. all I did was do the what if for one. And actually, Kyle and I did it when we were chatting in the parking lot, and we saw it, and we saw the what if. And all I did was
take two of those makeups away, and you win the match.
One. It was one of the makeups, and it was a win the match.
Because I mean, it was Kyle, you, Mason, all over 99.7%.
Which is
right, Kyle.
Which was crazy. It was
right.
fun.
So it's down to one Charlie, 0.2 seconds anywhere changes the result.
Yep. I think
across 10 stages for 3 people.
Subtracted 0.25, which anyone who knows me, like I don't have a 0.25 split to begin with. So really, it's like get away one of the makeups, and that's all it is, and it changes everything. So that's kind of where my execution struggles. Is a lot of times I'll have makeups.
Do you have, like, can you, my question is, are you not like Saul is what I'm asking. Can you see things in your mind?
Interesting. Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, can you close your eyes or have your eyes open and see targets on a stage?
Yeah. And I think in order to actually play on a stage, I think you have to do that, in my opinion. Like, I think that's kind of almost a mandatory thing, to be kind of honest.
I'm laughing because
I totally can't do that. Like, I have zero. We won't rehash this. It's been rehashed on this exact podcast ad nauseum. There's a couple other people in the Northeast like that. You shoot with one of them quite a bit, who's sort of a really, really sweet guy who trains a lot and is kind of hard stuck. And
you just can't. You close your eyes, you can't see him.
It's inky blackness. I mean, I've never seen anything in my imagination.
Ever. And you can see, like, I mean, I can see things with my eyes.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I can just be like sitting here wandering and I'm seeing something completely different than the wall in front of me.
No, I just see exactly what's there and nothing more, nothing less.
I don't know. Sounds like a solved problem. What's going on with that?
There's a whole word for it, and it affects like 2% of the population. It's like a thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's real. It's real. It's not just me, I promise.
You're special.
Yeah, anyway, Saul can make do.
We can talk about it some other time, but it means my mental rehearsal is not a first-person view of the stage. I never do that to rehearse.
So you're doing it eyes open, completely looking at the targets.
That helps a lot. I've been experimenting with taking videos and watching back my videos, because that's what I imagine other people's visualizations are like. They see the spot on the ground, then they see the spot in the target. They like pick a spot on the steel, and they're seeing that in their rehearsal. Yep. And in my rehearsal, it's just the concept of the next thing that happens. It's not an image.
So when you're doing that, are you taking the videos the day before? Like when you're walking?
If I can. This is new. It's also why, like, really simple stages, everybody does better on simple stages, but I can do even better on simple stages where I can kind of see it all from one position.
Yeah, and you don't have to actually hard program.
Yeah, and I've seen, anyway, again, this is about Dylan, not about me. But yeah, I've played a lot with programming, and there's a lot of programming that's feel too. Like, if you think about makeups, most of the makeups I take aren't visual. Like, if I get on a target early, I feel the gun go off before I saw what I needed to see. So It's not the absence of the dot that makes me send a makeup. It's like feeling the gun go off without everything being where it's supposed to be. It's like if you think of like a good makeup on steel, like where you get on it early, you transition to the steel and it goes bop ding, right? Like, we felt that. We didn't see it. There's no visual processing in that.
And
where
those
you
are
feel
like
yourself
the
out of it. Yeah, the good makeups.
Yeah,
It happens faster than we can see and think. Yep. And so in programming, I want that feeling of doing it right.
Yep.
Even if I can't see it. Anyway.
I mean, it makes
sense. So do you do a lot of visual rehearsals when you're on deck or when you're stage planning?
For majors, yes. I try to do a lot. And truthfully, I'll try to walk stages the day before or 2 days before. Like Area 7, I walked it 2 days before. So I don't have to think. I don't want to think going into match day. I kind of just want to have a plan set, ready to go. I think that's the case for most people that shoot majors. That's the ideal thing, is they don't want to think on the match day. So a lot of the visualization is happening beforehand. So most of the time you get to a stage that day. Like when I'm shooting a major, most of the time I'll walk it once that day and then just kind of scoot in the back while everyone's still walking it, and just kind of visually go over it more than anything.
Yeah, you just
And
like
is
track.
these full speed? Like, are you moving through it at the speed your body expects, or does it not matter?
It doesn't. It should matter, but it hasn't really. Most of the time, it's kind of just in my head. I'm trying to pick and this is actually kind of a negative of me is I don't pick spots on the ground that well. So a lot of times, like my missed positions is a me issue that I'm not programming it enough. So a lot of
Yeah,
times
this is
when I'm actually going over a stage plan, it's more of where I'm looking on the targets than anything. And
So you're connecting the targets because your eyes are up because you move a lot, and so
mm-hmm.
you're trying to figure out your positioning based on what you can see downrange,
Yep,
versus like looking to a crack in the fault line or a
yep,
spike or
yep.
a scuff mark or whatever.
And to that point, that's when you overrun positions because you're not programming it enough. So
But if you move and shoot continuously, you don't overrun much because you just keep shooting. So I mean, it seems to work out for you too.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty specific instances where you do have to look at the ground,
yeah.
and like, and sometimes it doesn't hurt. Like sometimes you get away without doing it. I was shooting with Mason one time, 2020 at Area 7, and I overran a position because I was going backwards, and
Mm-hmm.
I refused to look at the ground because I wanted to just shoot the target right away. And Mason, after he said to me, he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I think Mason did a different plan to avoid that entirely." Mason was like, "Yeah, that's why I didn't want to do that part."
Yep.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
like, but if it works out great. But like that kind of thing is pretty specific anyway. But yeah, this is Saul's asking the questions that I wanted to ask was, like when are you then ready to shoot the stage? Like if you're up last on the stage, when do you like start this process early and then stop it at some point, or what do
Yeah.
you do? When do you know?
So I'd say about 3 shooters before I'm up is kind of when I try to lock back in. Most of the time, like we've all shot together. Most of the time, just kind of shooting chatting, making jokes, chit chatting, making fun of myself, the typical stuff. And then about three shooters before is kind of when I try to go to the back. Like most of the time, I'll completely turn around, so I'm not looking at the stage, and I'm
I have
thinking
trouble doing that.
it's hard,
Mostly because of my orientation.
but it is hard to do. You know what I
But
mean?
yeah, that would be valuable if that's yeah, if you just want to focus on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
And then right away, most of the time, what happens is I have a hang up in my visualization.
Okay.
Um, so then I kind of try to hyper focus on that little hang up. And I would say it happens almost every stage when I go back, is there's some sort of hang up. So I'll
And
kind
this
of
is where your
focus on
polished
that.
execution comes from because you're anticipating the potential stumble or the visual sort of hang up or the hesitation.
Yeah,
You're
what
noticing in your walkthrough and you're
Hmm.
fixing it before you shoot, which is
Hmm.
why, like, when you shoot, it tends to seem very connected.
That is definitely the goal, but it's not. It's a struggle. It's
so
definitely a
what's it
struggle point.
what's an example of like that hang up like on a stage, like what first comes to your mind when you think of a hang up that you then have to fix?
Most of the time, it's like it's where it could be like a lot of time it's like where there's one target. You have one target to shoot, and it's kind of like you get in that little hang up position. Like, do I keep moving? Do I kind of stop? Whatnot. Most of the time, I'll almost forget that target in my walkthrough, and it's to Saul's points because I'm trying to kind of just go and go and go and go. With that one target, most of the time you have to stop in most cases. So I would say that is the biggest part is if there's one target in my brain, I am missing it in my initial walkthroughs almost all the time. My initial visualizations.
Okay,
Because you
and
have this
then
continuous path from start to finish, and the idea of introducing a hard stop for one target, which is not, a lot to do, you just smooth right over that
Yeah.
in
My
your
brain's
initial
like
walkthrough.
what are you doing? One? Really?
why would
Find
you
somewhere
like
else to shoot it. Yeah, find
yeah.
something to do there. Like, what are we doing?
So
So
Okay,
do you
so then
notice this? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jay.
no, yeah, so you're in the back, you've turned yourself around from the stage, so you don't even know what left or right is at that point. I'm just thinking for myself. Um, so you've turned yourself around, you run through the stage, and then you at some point during that visualization or that rehearsal, you catch that there is actually a target there that you need to pick up
Mhm.
and you need to fix. Do you do you like this is a little bit to do with Saul's question earlier, but do you speed through like the first section of the stage and then like do repairs on that and then speed through the last bit, or do you like just address the bit that you need to?
Most of the time, it is if I run into some sort of hang up, I just stop and start over, completely start over. And if I can't start over and get through that hang up, I'm not ready. So it is like really try to focus in. And I've
So
actually
it's pass fail. So your rehearsal is pass fail.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's like if it's not all there, you're going to take it from the top every time.
Yeah, and there was actually a stage at Area 7 that it was I think it was stage 2, like in that front section. I think we had it later in the day. I don't even remember really. But I stood on the start stick and said, "Oh boy, I don't know what I'm doing." And that was the first time that's happened in a while. I don't know why it happened. I haven't really like diagnosed it, but that was like an oh crap moment.
It was a really long hot lunch, honestly. We had to stop for like an hour in the heat of the day. Like,
yeah. I mean, that had to, I think it was after lunch.
It was physical.
Yeah.
Well, just
it was right after lunch. We were there hanging out in the sun for an hour on a really hot and humid day. Nobody other than Jay covered themselves in glory on that stage.
It was Kyle's
like
fault. It was the stage designer's fault that you did that.
I agree.
Yeah.
When in doubt, we blame Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always Narcom's fault.
Always Narcom's fault.
So the thing you're saying, and again, because I don't visualize, so I'm just theory crafting here. But what I wonder about taking it from the top, and this is a conversation I've had with a couple of people who are pretty good visualizers, does that mean that everything up to that sticking point gets better and better and better because it gets repeated, and then everything after that might only get a fraction of the total visualizations?
I mean, maybe. I've never really thought of it of like the front part is getting better and better. It's kind of like, to your point, the pass fail. Like I either have it all or I don't have it all.
So do you remember having to write essays like in school?
Yeah.
And like when you had to edit them?
I don't want to remember, but I remember.
But the first paragraph ends up really good because you don't want to do your homework. And so then every time you sit down to do it, you start at the top and you like fix a couple sentences. And then like by the time you get to the end, it's just whatever words so that it is the page length, right?
And yeah, but
the difference between like really good shooters and really great shooters is later in the stages, and your late stages are fine. So clearly this is not an issue for you. But later in the stages, you see the separation. If you look at the AMG data, like for the Super Squad, and you look at the person who wins the match and the person who finishes back quite a ways, what you'll see is their lines are basically the same time for 2/3 of a field course, and then at the end they diverge. And then if you look lower down in the field, like, like where people like me are, I'll keep up for the first third. And then the lines get farther and farther apart. And so it's like the higher up you go sort of in the skill, the more people can maintain that execution across a 24 or 30 round stage, where the end is just as crisp as the beginning.
Do you think that's because of layer on top of layer on top of layer? It's hard to actually
Absolutely. I think it's processing drag. I mean, I think it's mental tax. Right? Like the shots don't get more difficult at the end of the stage, but almost everybody slows down. You look at people's like last transition, if it's not like just a transition to a burner, and it's like, it goes like this. And you look at the exact same 60-degree transition at the beginning of the stage, and it's like snap.
And we know you could do it. When we shot with you up in Maine, remember you had that like 30 transition on like a target that was
like none of us could do that.
You could do that. Yeah, none of us could do it. You could. That was crazy.
I think that's like Kyle's 13 transitions. I think it's a part of the trick that's not repeatable.
I think I tried to do it and I like shot the barrel stack or something like that. Like I over transitioned so much.
Me too. I did the exact same thing. Wasn't even close to the target.
Not even close. I think there's a decent amount there where it's losing track of where you are exactly, not losing full track, but just your brain is slightly left behind, and it's nowhere at the beginning of the stage. It can only be left so far behind, and especially if you do things like grab a weird grip off the draw or something like that.
You send 2 makeups on a piece of steel, and then it hangs over you. and the better shooters have better error correction. And like you're pretty good at that, Dylan. Like if you shoot a couple makeups in a position, the rest of your execution doesn't appear to suffer.
So is it? But really, but it. I mean,
it doesn't appear to. I don't know how you feel. I just know how you shoot.
Yeah, it appears you appear to suffer less than other people. And
right, like not to pick on our friends, but we have some friends too where a mistake early in the stage and then they just hit the gas for the rest of the stage and you see it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any benefit to that like at any point in time. I understand.
Right, but it takes a lot of discipline. Yeah. It takes a lot of discipline to resist that in the moment.
So
or like me, my default is I make the mistake and then I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be in conscious control of everything for the rest of the stage. I'm going to like carefully place alphas, which is also a huge error.
I mean, I kind of just like even Mason says this. Like you say it's a huge error, but I was listening to something from Mason a while ago, and he says when he has a mic on a stage and he knows it. There was one at Area 8. If you watch his breakdown,
I did, and then he's like, "I'm going to shoot alphas for the rest of the time." But Mason shooting alphas, he didn't say he's going to move cautiously and he's going to wait to confirm on entry. It means he's going to have enough visual information to guarantee good points on the rest of the targets. That makes sense. But if when the whole thing gets globally slowed down and you start consciously like, I'm done with this target, now this target, and you sort of exert control instead of running on like a higher threshold autopilot. Yeah. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Does this for you get back to your goal piece where like if something happens early in a stage or where anywhere in a stage, is there some part of you where you think I'm here to win, so I can't do dumb things in the middle of the stage?
Yeah, you can't really like a mistake happened. You can't really like make up a mistake. Yeah, you can if you think about it beforehand, you can outrun a mic sometimes. But in my opinion, like that has to be something in your brain, in the back of your brain already. Which it's like I know we've talked about Kyle. Kyle's a person who can outrun a mic. In his brain, he can just go insanely fast at all times and outrun a mic, and that's good. He actually beat me on a stage this weekend with a mic. So it's like people can do that and are fast enough. In my I'm not that person. I'm gonna just shoot the way I always shoot and just stay at that level. Hopefully like the level gets higher and higher, you practice you more, but like I'm kind of just here, I'm gonna shoot the same way basically at all times, which is a good thing and bad thing.
That's almost an impossible thing. That's an extremely rare skill, like all the way up to the top. People who can shoot the same way the whole time. Like that's actually something very special. This is the thing that people listening to this will want to be like, how can I do that? How can I have consistency?
Yeah, because I think, I don't know, people get really good, like very, very good. And it's never able to be expressed because of the up and down. And it's expressed especially at matches that are outside of their local comfort.
Yeah.
And so for you at matches, I've started to talk without an idea for a question. Oh dear, I had one and then it disappeared. That's why Saul's here. But
no, I'm here to derail things. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But what I was gonna, I'll add something. So like I always say, I shoot at this like consistent level. The part that kind of, and I say consistent, it's kind of just same, like just straight line. I struggle with, you go to a stage that is a 10 hit factor. I struggle for this to go here. Like you have to go faster in those ones. I almost like, I know you're making the face. I feel like in my opinion, in my brain, I'm shooting each stage like it's a 6 hit factor stage. That may not be the case, but that's
how I feel, Saul. That's how I feel.
I know you guys feel this, but I've seen you both hose very effectively. So and the thing is mental consistency doesn't feel like hosing because other people's 12 splits, and Jay can choose 12 splits now, but other people's 12 splits sound like hosing. But if you look at all of the big hosey matches, stages, and we shot one at Nationals earlier this year, stage 13. It's just banks and banks of open targets, shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. And the people who cleaned up on that stage they did what you do. They just shot continuously. They shot and moved. They walked along a line, laterally moving, shooting as fast as like their sights allowed. It just doesn't feel exciting when you do it well. And so like the mental thing is like, and I know Jay did this at like a provisional classifier at a match we shot last month, because we're looking at it and we're like, this is a stupid, simple, posy stage. What can we do to hit the gas?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, how that worked.
And of course, you then went and shot variations on that same set of challenges, Jay, very, very fast. Faster than anyone in a match in the country has actually put up times. Not by doing whatever you did when you shot it at the match to go fast.
Yeah, all of the runs that I did in training did not have that frantic feeling that I had at the match. Where like I whacked my gun on the wall and like threw a miss and then and with just total panic. Yeah, and so yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah, I think it comes from this place of I just want more. I want to be better.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've trained together, Dylan. Like we all have just that one amazing time. It was that perfect day.
Perfect day. My
March
feet weren't wet at all. My feet
yeah,
weren't
right.
cold.
Aside from wet feet,
Yeah.
the sun was out. It was great.
It was 48 degrees and raining, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. 48 is perfect.
Perfect.
88, on the other hand, oof.
Not perfect.
But yeah, I mean, you want to get better. Like that whole time. I don't know. You were also in training. You were doing your own thing. Like you were. I mean, we had reference there on each other's times and everything like that. But your training seemed like just a brief look at it. It seemed like you had a rough idea of what you needed to do the next time, your next run.
Yeah. Like when we did stuff at the end, like our own little drills to like end the session. Yeah, it was different stuff. I was so frustrated that day, and I know I like never really show it. When we were retreating on the one stage, I'm sure you guys will remember this. We retreated to a box and had to shoot targets to the left steel, and you were beating all of us by, it was 3/4 of a second to a second every time. I left there so frustrated. I dry fired it. I went to the range. I still practice it. I practiced it 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it was. It's just
a hard uprange run to enter onto a piece of steel, so and then still have the balance to hit something after that.
Yep.
And exit again.
And exit out. Yes.
I was just doing that in dry fire today and finding myself like wildly off balance half of the time. It was great.
I don't believe that.
It's a really, really hard skill to reverse directions and shoot something and not just hang out in space long enough to hit a thing, but to be able to put together a sequence and then be set up to leave. Like there's 4 layers there.
Yeah. So I mean that's another glimpse into your training of you saw something that you wanted to do better, and then you revisit. So what's that look like? You're revisiting it. I mean, how hard do you hit it right off, and then how often do you come back to those kind of skills?
It's probably not as much as I should. So this is another thing like I tend to struggle with, especially shooting more majors this year, where I'm kind of just in like, my practice mode is more of like major match, try to just shoot mini stages and try to just shoot alphas and blah blah blah. The skill training has been lacking. So right after we did that, I did it for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, dry fire shooting, and what I just mentioned a couple days ago is the first time that I came back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I came back to it, I took video of it, and it was bad. So it's something that needs to kind of always be going.
There's some skills like that are so layered that it's like you can't, or like, okay, now I can do it, put that in my toolbox and I have it. It's like, no, if I don't, Jed and Jay and I, when we were shooting in Florida, we had a sequence that was open, really far partial, exit. And that to me is one of the hardest things to do in the game, is shoot really, really fast and then leave on a high risk target. Because you either get smoked on time or you get smoked on hits.
Yeah.
but there are people who can do it. And
Yeah.
and I worked and worked and worked on that, and I felt like I got to a good spot with it. And then, like I said, I was training the other day, and it was like I was right back to zero.
Yeah.
See, that's something I do all the time. So like hard targets, leaving on them. Honestly, hard targets in general is something I basically do every time I'm at the range. Whether it's a 35-yard partial or a 45-yard open target, that's like a common thing. That's basically every practice. And then I try to mix in like a close target. So you actually, because truthfully, most of the time I have mics, and this wasn't the case for Area 5, but just in the past, is they're on the close targets, the 5-yard, 7-yard open targets, the ones you just try to breeze through, the ones you don't even, you in your head, you're like, I don't even have to think about that. Those are the ones that I've always struggled with.
So remember at Area 7, Stage 12, when you come up to the slider, there's a big popper. Sorry, I have to use my hands because I can't see in my head like you guys. So there's a big popper, and there's an open to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And like the goal was to activate, hit the open on the left, connect and open to the right of the slider, and pick up the sliders.
I did it differently, but yes.
But I mean, I feel like it was the most efficient plan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was, but I also did it differently.
You went straight into the target on the right, right, Jay? I think we did.
No, he did steel makeup or like trigger freeze.
Trigger freeze. Steel, one shot, major trigger freeze. No, the second shot, slider, and then finish.
Slider finished on the right.
Mm-hmm.
But that entry on the steel where you're moving laterally across the steel and then you have to shoot behind it at the open.
Yeah.
That challenge, I was trying to be smarter like you guys, and so I came home and I set up variations of that challenge in dry fire, and I was like, I figured out how to make my body get good hits because I shot a delta on that, and like I knew it in real time, like shooting across my body, moving the other way. It's like, how can I do this? This is a thing we have to do. It's like shoot against the direction of movement, and I just hammered on that until it felt like a thing I could do.
So when
and
you
it sounds
that,
like this is what you do. Like you have a hiccup in a stage, and then you come home and you're like, I'm going to make this a thing I excel.
Yeah. And like to your example, most of the time when stuff like that happens, and this goes back to like baseball days, I always kind of did this, is say you're shooting across this way, like you're saying, I'll over exaggerate it beyond belief, like to where it's extremely uncomfortable and then kind of tone it back. That's kind of how I've always worked. And
you do the hardest version of it that's harder than reality.
Yes.
And then you sort of bring it home.
Yep.
Yeah. And so like your hard targets in training, I always like towards later, deeper into the training is like, all right, now let me give targets that we actually see in stages. Because we just don't shoot 30-yard tuxedos like repeatedly in stages. It just doesn't happen.
And I would say I do that, but even like I shoot before a match, a major match, and I'm shooting the day before. I'm still shooting the hard far targets. I don't actually take those out. And that's kind of more or less attempting to get a confidence boost, knowing if I can shoot that, any target I see at the match should be fine.
I can reliably hit whatever I want to hit that's harder than anything I will see at the match. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
So I mean, it's also good. I mean, just practically speaking, it's a really good zero check too. Like, is my equipment properly functioning?
Yeah, if you have a pattern on your 45-yard open that's not in the middle, it's almost always your dot. Right? I mean, really. Like, if it's a pattern, if they're all hitting the same spot that's not in the middle, it's the equipment.
I get that, but I don't change my zero. So, like, I let my zero just go. And I'll have days, and this is weird, I'll pattern to the right. And the next time I go shoot, same ammo, same gun, same red dot, no change, and it's not. I have days where, and this is not just always to the right, for example, but like I'll have days I'll pattern, and I have to try to figure out what's going on in those days. Because as much as I want to say, like, actually, I was listening to another podcast the other day, and it was Joey Sauerland, and he's basically saying he's actually not a good shooter. He's good at moving and doing the stuff, and I heard him say that, and I kind of connected to it. In my eyes, I'm not actually a good shooter a lot of the times. I'll have a lot of shooting mistakes, but I'm fine with the moving. It's weird. So you're like,
I disagree for both of you guys, but I mean, I don't know what good shooter means to you, right? Like, is it, 1.5 inch group at 50 yards, which is kind of the standard for anybody shooting bullseye? Well, I can't do that. Jay might be able to do it, but most people can't do that. With iron sights.
No. I can't group well at like 25. So I'm like, what's going on? Not that grouping matters. Grouping doesn't really matter in the practical sense, but I mean,
like, I can't group that well either. Like, I will have good groups like 2 times a year, and they're like pretty good for me. But then all of my other groups are like, wow, I was a little bit sloppy.
Like, yeah, but that's because you're not doing anything you know how to do. It's not because I think this is the inverse of people having a doubles grip, right? So people who shoot a lot of doubles, almost all of them who aren't the people who promote doubles, end up creating a grip that produces reliable doubles results that's not what they use in matches. And I cannot shoot doubles. I mean, like, I can't, like, in the classical sense, my group opens up. The exact same split in a match will be much tighter than I can do by consciously trying to shoot doubles. Putting my mind on my hands and, like, getting my grip into the preferred grip and then shooting doubles, I simply can't do it. However, clearly I can shoot pairs because they happen all of the time in matches. Mm-hmm. Clearly you can shoot a small group because you do it all of the time on hard targets. But the skill of group shooting, which is its own thing, that's not what we really do.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of the inverse of that. Just like there are people who can shoot really good doubles and their shots are all over the target in matches. Like, it's de-linked from what we actually do.
Totally true. I'll be like, whoa, that is the craziest doubles group I've ever seen. And then they're like, who is this person? Oh, never mind.
But really, like, people who are, like, stacking them on a paster, they're shooting 18 splits, stacking them on a paster at 18 yards, and then you look at where their hits are in matches, and it's like, it doesn't look like that. It's like, because they've trained themselves for that skill. And I think group shooting is a skill that we don't need or train. And so some people who are good at USPSA who have a group shooting, background can have that. But clearly you can hit small things reliably.
Yes and no. See, I still am at the point where I actually see dot flicker down. And that's happens more than I want it to. And it could flicker down even just a little bit. But
you mean during the trigger press?
Yes, that to me is
unacceptable.
But like,
you shoot a 2011, so now it's unacceptable. Anyone who shoots a hinged trigger is physics, right? If you shoot a hinged trigger, if you push the target far enough, at some point the trigger it's a hinge. It's going to act on that's physics. But now you shoot 2011, you have no excuse. It's got to be 0 dot movement.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Perfect zero.
Pull the trigger really, really hard, really rough, and the dot will not move. Okay, just for you. But yeah,
just for you. That's the standard, Dylan. I mean, I think, I remember years ago asking Jay, like, hey, in trigger control at speed, like, your dot still moves, like, a little, right? And he's like, well, ideally, no, but yes. I was like, okay, good. Because it's like, the gun is really, really stable. I'm hitting where I want, but I can perceive the dot move when my hands move, right? Like, I thought there was like some platonic ideal where it doesn't move. And then you start thinking about like how much of a dip it is. And you're like, oh, that would hit 2 inches low at 50 yards. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Maybe that's where my head goes, but like I see that, and even like again, I'll shoot the hard targets. A lot of times I'll have the no shoots, and they're still like you're giving yourself some room, and they're not hitting the no shoot. But in my brain, I'm still seeing it go down, and in my brain, I'm saying that is completely unacceptable. As much as it
in my head, I call those bad shots, right? Like I'll have 100%. Like 4-inch strip over the no shoot, and it'll dive towards the no shoot, and then it lands 1/2 inch above the no shoot, and I'll be like, oh, that scores as an alpha, but it's a bad shot. Because I pulled the gun down and did it.
And that's
even though I never ever shot a no shoot at that distance in any match ever. I've never had a 4-inch strip over a no shoot out at 35 yards ever. Never once.
No. But that's what goes.
But it bugs me. It bugs me in training because I see it dive down and I'm like, yeah, it scores okay, but it's a bad shot.
It's and that's what goes back to saying like me actually shooting in my brain. I'm like, I'm not actually like a good shooter when it comes to that stuff because I see that stuff and it's more frequent than I want it to be. Way more frequent than I want it to be. So,
but I think the people you're competing with, it's probably a similar frequency because you're getting similar downrange results.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look
not
at
that you shouldn't try and improve it. Like, absolutely, be the best shooter
that's
ever.
not.
Go for it. But I don't think you're at a deficit versus your competition.
mm,
I don't know, man. I don't.
in my brain,
I don't know who these people are whose dots don't move when they pull the trigger, but
I want to be that person. If they don't exist, I still want to be them. You know, that's how it is.
I mean, I think it's like, I think if in training, if everyone thought that, well, so this is like the difference where I've always thought about it, like in training, I am not as good as I want to be, and then I'll go to a match, and I'll allow myself to be content with where I'm at.
Yeah, I think you have to do that, in my opinion. Like at a match, you kind of almost have to be content if you want to be somewhat confident going into the match, right? You can't be going in and thinking,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I think you have to. So it's probably a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had this conversation with Tyler a while ago, Tyler Turner. He's also one of those rotating guest hosts that he'll do. Never mind, he hasn't done anything. Tyler, you're next. You have to do a solo podcast. But we were talking about the same thing of just being like, you go to a match, and if you're happy with where your skill is right now at the match, then that probably gives you a better result at the match than it would if you were very unhappy with where your skill is at the match.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's any benefit going into a match thinking about where you are skill level wise. Like I don't. Again, my opinion is at the match. I try not to even think about that. It's basically just.
There's a dog on the screen, so it's Xander too.
It's distracting.
Good boy.
We just want to pet him.
I know.
So yeah, it's kind of just go in where you are. I think you have to do that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought. That's what I thought. And then
I mean, you're being very logical, but this is not normative.
Yeah,
really,
it's not, because people do things that don't work because they're not good enough, is what they think.
So you're saying doing things outside of their current skill level. So you're basically saying you have to know exactly where you are going into the match, which I would agree with. You have to know what you're bad at. Yeah.
Know it, and then perform within that.
Yeah.
And then in training, obviously, like, do everything possible to stretch it.
Yeah.
And this is where you're going to have so much fun, Dylan. Really, like you in particular are going to have fun at nationals, because it's the one match of the year where people bring so much additional pressure to themselves that they can't stay in their skill band. And that's like true the whole way up and down, right? Like, yeah. And it doesn't matter where your skill band is, but if you think about like your sort of peer shooters, you can beat people who are better than you, who you think are better than you, mm-hmm. because they can't do that when under pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can also get beaten by people who you think you're better than, right? It goes both ways, because you can't do that, right? But you in particular, like Jay, like this is a thing of like sort of being the shooter you are at that match, and then doing that shooter's thing.
Which kind of goes to the point
really hard skill.
Which goes to the point of always practicing hard stuff. So when you see the easy stuff, you know you can do it. And to be fair, most of the time you go to a match, like the hardest stuff you see at the matches are what? Swingers or stuff like that. Most of the time, if it's a static target, chances are they probably aren't all that hard at 95% of matches, right?
Yeah. Pretty much all. I remember even my first match, the first Area 7 that I went to, I remember thinking when I got to the match, I was like, oh wow, these targets are actually really close. Which obviously at Pioneer, like usually the targets are kind of close. But
the first 3 or 4 majors I went to, that was my impression. It's like there is a lot of 5 to 10 yard targets. Like most of the matches, 5 to 10 yard targets, and this was a surprise to me. I assumed that major matches would not be mostly 5 to 10 yard targets.
Yeah. I mean, even watching match videos like Carry Optics Nationals 2024 with the hard partials at like 40. That's like the only thing I've really seen where it's like genuinely hard
We
static
didn't have
targets.
we didn't have hard partials at 40. They
were at 60.
No, they were at like 28 or whatever, right?
Is
like
that what they were?
in the telling, they just keep getting farther and farther away. It's like I was an over the top swinger at 29 yards. And it's like, oh, yeah, or 14.
It was 14 yards.
So they were like 25 because.
No, they were like 30. But they were like half IPSICs, and so like you had a generous amount of A zone. I know this because I hit it once.
Once, huh? Was it a double at 30?
It was not, and I shot at it 3 times.
Over the top.
I hit it once, the dot went up, and I was like, ooh, don't let the dot get near the no-shoot. So I shot again, and I was like, well, that didn't even touch the target. And so then I did that again, and then I left. Didn't hit the no-shoot.
That's all that matters, right?
I did.
You hit the one, like the ones where it was 2 targets in the middle. Is that what it was? 2 targets?
Oh, no. No, that was stage 18. Jay, was it 10 or... Yeah.
I hit the no-shoot on 10, but I made it up with an alpha.
Okay. It turns out that scores better. 2 alpha no-shoot is worth 0 points. Alpha Mike is worth -5. I'm sorry, -10.
Yeah. Yeah, one yeah, anyway, it wasn't that bad. It was fine. It's totally fine. It wasn't as good as it could have been, but it was okay. Before we wrap it up, because everyone's except for Saul has gone past their bedtime. What do you think about one-handed shooting? This is for Jed. Does one-handed shooting belong in the sport?
Yeah, I'd say yes. I'd say any type of shooting belongs in the sport because it's a diverse skill. It's funny you actually say this. I shot the other day, and that was the first time I've practiced one-handed shooting in probably. Honestly, it might be the first time I've ever practiced one-handed shooting. And it was because Area 5 had an all strong hand stage. And I did horrible. I lost a bunch of points. It was my last stage of the day. And so I came home and practiced it. But yes, to your question, I do think it should be in the sport. I like the dynamic stages still with one-handed shooting. I don't really love the standards stages with one-handed shooting.
But how much fun is it, like that stage at Area 5, because I've seen plenty of video of it, right? Mm-hmm. To run around and pick up poppers on the move one-handed and have swingers one-handed, right? And everything happens at the exact same speed as two-handed other than splits. The only thing that slows down is how long it takes the gun to return.
It sounds like
everything else, theoretically.
Your one-handed shooting is clearly a lot better than mine.
Oh, no. That's not how it happens for me. I'm saying done correctly. Yes. The only thing that changes is the return of the gun. Like, you can run just as aggressively. You can enter just as aggressively for that first shot. You can do everything you can do with 2 hands except return the gun quickly. And you can still return it pretty quickly. Theoretically. And so that's why, like, for me, it's so much fun to train. Like, pretty much every time I shoot, I shoot like a mini stage one-handed.
Yes, this is Saul and I every single time we go out.
Time we shoot. I had a swinger out tonight. I was out shooting, and I had like sort of a 3-position stage, and I shot it left-handed, I shot it right-handed, like run around as far steel. And, I mean, did I score great on it? Who knows? But like, it was a fun challenge.
They must have that at IPSC Nats coming up, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They've got an 11-round weekend-only stage with 6 static 6-inch plates, 1 swinging plate, and then 2 opens.
Is that a complete stand and shoot?
No, it's like 3-dimensional all over the place. You're moving around like normal stage, just full of steel that you have to hit in a bunch of different positions.
It sounds great, but I'm happy I don't have to shoot that. I'll tell you that. I want no part of that.
Oh, it sounds good. I mean, again, it's fun. And it's especially fun in training because you can see how quickly you can do the non-shooting parts with just your left hand or your right hand in terms of like the entries and the exits and everything else. And the transitions, like, to be honest. Like you can transition really quickly one-handed.
I can't even find my dot one-handed, so I'm not quite at that transition speed, shooting on the move.
Again, I'm not saying I'm succeeding. I'm just and shooting on the move one-handed is fun. It's hard, but it's fun.
All right, so I'm just gonna argue this one thing that because Jed is upset right now when he's listening to this. I hope he's listening. Hi, Jed.
I hope he's listening.
But it's not freestyle. This is like a freestyle sport. Why force this? Like, that's just like it's just like putting random rules on a stage. Like, why should it even be tested at all?
But why does it have to be freestyle? Like, in my opinion, like, it doesn't have to be freestyle to make it a match. It's a different skill. Do I think it should be at every single match? No, I don't.
So to you, it looks like it's a different skill. It's a different skill, as in, you know, transitioning from a close target to a far target and leaving is a different skill.
I would say yes. It's also it's a separator. There's people that are really, like, for example, Brantley. Like, Brantley's insanely good at one-handed shooting. He uses it as an advantage against people. Like, it's a skill that should be used. For me, it would be
Mason's pretty good at that.
I wonder why.
It turns out, guys, get a horse to break your wrist, and you too can.
I think it was a pig. It was a pig, I think. Maybe it was a horse. I don't know.
It wasn't a horse. I don't know, but yes, it wasn't
an animal.
But anyway,
it was an animal and a some kind of
play in farms, and you too shall excel at one-handed shooting.
Yeah, play in farms.
Or get trampled, you know, one or the other. Everybody's winner.
So what? Jed thinks it should be all freestyle at all times.
Jed thinks that that it's a race, and like if you were running a race, you wouldn't be like, hey, between mile 12 and mile 13, you got to hop on one foot, right? Like you're running a half marathon between 12 and 13.1, you got to hop on just your right foot, right? Like then you're not racing anymore, you know. Or it's like, hey guys, great, you know, when you come around the track for the last lap, you got to do it in reverse, right?
So like I kind of
run backwards. Yeah.
Like
I mean, this would be like if we wanted to have a separate, like what we have for the sport is testing a variety of skills. Like that is the sport.
Yep.
It's always been that way. If we wanted to have a sport that was freestyle and it was only one stage where you did like two movements, like running around the track, like, you know, a 2-lap distance,
then it would be Outer Limits and Steel Challenge, and
then we just do that. And so I'm all obviously on board with one-handed shooting being a part. And to whatever volume it is a part, like I think it should be a bigger part than it actually should be, but that's just because I have biases.
And kids, you practice it all the time, and it's fun.
It's fun, and I practice it all the time. Yeah.
but it's like if every major match, especially now that in USPSA, we're allowed to have one-handed stages that aren't standards. That's only new this year. Prior to that, you couldn't have a legal USPSA major stage that was one-handed. You could do the last 6 rounds, or you could force it with a prop, carry this ammo can, or whatever.
I didn't know that.
But you couldn't.
That's
you
a new
couldn't
rule?
actually have. It is a new rule. So it's 8 rounds for weak hands and 12 rounds for strong hands. That's why the Area 5 stage was 12 rounds. But you can make it a 12-round stage with a couple of far pieces of steel and a swinger, and now it's not really a 12-round stage.
I did not know that was a rule change. So we'll probably see it more. You said that's recent?
That's new this year. It's been talked about in the past, and there was some people who wanted it to go up to medium course length, which would be for USPSA 20 rounds.
So that means
why it's 8 rounds is you can't force revolver shooters to reload in their weak hand. That's why it's 8 rounds.
Yeah. Which makes sense. But that I didn't know this. This to me says I need to go practice it because we're probably going to see it way more.
For the next couple of years, when there's a rule change, like when fixed time was allowed to have dynamic stages, then suddenly every match had a fixed time stage. If you remember, for a couple of years, every match did. Prior to that, the way fixed time was is it had to be a standards.
Like hardly ever seen.
And so you never saw it outside of classifiers. And so I think for the next couple of years, it'll be a common mechanic at most majors. They'll have a weekend or a strong hand dynamic stage.
Time to go practice it. Because let me tell you, when I did it the other day, it was ugly. It was really ugly.
But just think of how fast you'll learn. Like, anytime there's a skill that you totally haven't worked on, it's like you get the noob gains for a while. Like, every time you do it, you get better.
Noob gains are so great. I like to locate them and then get better at them.
A low-hanging fruit that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
I wish there was always that super easy low-hanging fruit.
Turns out if you look at the spots on the ground, you'll get there faster. If you look at the target while you're shooting it, you'll have better hits.
Yep, you'll shoot it. You'll get alphas.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like the low-hanging fruit. When you get better, it's like it's always there, but maybe it's like right behind your head, and you like bump into every once in a while. And then it's not like right in front of your eyes. You have to like turn around and then you can pick it. But it's always there. It's like, oh, how about I look at the center of the target? Duh. Or how about I hold on to the gun when I shoot it? Cool, I'll do that.
It's like, I have a good grip. It turns out if I don't grip, I don't.
Yeah, like, oh, I should probably just grip. I'll just grip the gun. And then
I thought I already fixed that one a few years ago. Wait, you still have to grip it?
I thought I only had to decide to do that once. Turns out it's every time. Anyway, this is just things that Saul and I have been talking about. Like, for myself, a lot of notes that I have on training right now are just like, grip harder. Grip hard.
So are you experimenting with actually gripping harder? Or is it just a reminder to grip hard?
I'm just experimenting with gripping harder.
Harder.
Yeah. Gripping harder than what I was doing.
Yep. Is that both hands?
Yeah, it just happens to be both hands. It's everywhere.
Both hands.
Turns out when the gun moves less, it comes back sooner. And you feel more confident and in control. At least that's been my experience. 5 years ago, inspired by Jay, I got a whiteboard with like things I wanted to train. And then like it was going to evolve. And I never changed it. And it's still like with the dry erase marker that's now permanently etched onto the surface, hanging out in my gun room. But I looked at it the other day, and they're all things I still want to improve. Because it was just like the fundamentals that everybody
like still
needs to
valid.
get. It was like entries and exits, and like staying balanced, setting myself up to leave, like maintaining a constant connection to the gun. It's like, oh wait, that stuff is just as relevant today.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all the time. I mean, this is nothing new to me. It's just like I'm just reminding myself of it again, and the gun behaves better. So then I can do the next thing sooner after the everything. It makes it so I don't have to think as much when I'm shooting a stage.
Like the hockey stick dot movement bothers me, even when the hits are good and the times are appropriate. Like, it bothers me if my dot does like a hockey stick, because I know I'm not doing the right thing.
Yeah,
like independent of the results.
It's interesting you say that. Like when that whole like the dot movement going straight up, that kind of came like a phase for a little bit where everyone was talking about it. Before then, I couldn't tell you what my dot did. After and to this day, I know because I've looked at it now and actually tried to figure it out. But like, I don't really know.
And I don't care about straight up and down, but there's like a certain like when I just start shooting strong hand only, which is what happens, then my dot does like this hockey stick motion, and that's not supposed to be strong hand. My other hand's still there, but it's just quit the sport.
So do you guys keep an up to date list of things that you want to work on? All the time?
No, this is my list from 5 years ago. I've never looked at it again.
I have a lot of lists that I'll like write a couple of things on it, and then like that's all that happens, and then I'll look at the list, later on and be like, oh yeah, I wrote that list. But it's just things. I've never writing down brand new things.
Yeah.
But this is the fruit that's behind your head,
Because I
that I'm
actually,
talking
it's
about.
something I'm kind of messing with. Like I've never really been like creating lists, but I just created a list probably 2, 3 months ago, and they're individual skills that I've actually wanted to actually get better. But like before then, I wasn't doing that. I think it's helpful. It actually makes you go to the range and work on an individual skill rather than anything else. So it kind of keeps you focused. I think it's a good
Oh
idea.
Do you
yeah.
do that when you're driving to the range? Like when I'm driving to the range, I have a really clear concept of these are like the 4 things I want to accomplish, and if I run out of time, these are the 2.
So I keep a list. Like I'll do it. I'm fortunate enough to work from home, so I'll make a list while I'm working before I'm ready to leave of things I want to do. And
Okay.
lately, it's been just one thing, and it's not trying to do too much. And most of the time, it's one thing from like watching a video of someone else shooting and saying, "I want to be able to do that," and that's kind of where it comes from. It's most of the time it's not from like match video or anything.
And I take it you don't get easily distracted once because you have that sort of goal that's
Not really.
hanging over your head.
Yeah.
I get so easily distracted. I like to do a thing. I'm like, oh, that felt uncomfortable. Let me just work on that thing that's not the thing I was going to work on for the next
I'd
45 minutes.
say there's times of that, but most of the time, no. And a lot of times I'll catch myself like, "Hey, why are you thinking about why this happened? Go back to what you actually wanted to work on."
Mm.
But
I
does it
mean, it
always happen?
probably.
Discipline.
I mean, I know for me it helps if I do have that in mind before I go out. But
Yeah.
if I don't have it in mind before I go out, then it's bouncing all over the place. Where I'll like
Eh,
do one thing and then I'll be like, well, maybe I'll try this. And at that point, the practice is not be it's not as productive as it could have been.
that's normally like my pre-match practice. Like I won't go with a specific thing. I will set up targets and move them 10 times while I'm there and shoot different arrays and that's kind of that. So like
Sure.
I
You're
do have
just sort
those
of
things.
watching what happens and
Yeah.
just being comfortable shooting good points
And I'll
as
shoot
fast
it
as you can see them.
exactly. And I'll shoot it one time and then change what I'm doing. Like most of the time my range sessions are only 150, 200 rounds. I don't really go over that ever. So
Yeah.
shoot it a bunch of different
Well, you
ways.
have.
I have, but I don't really. I honestly, I think the time I shot with you guys.
Anybody listening to Dylan, remember, like Dylan the story and Dylan the man are like they're related, but they're not the same.
I think the most I shot was with you guys in a day. Actually, I shot one day. The class I shot with Mason and Ben was obviously more. But other than that, the day I shot with you guys was probably the most in a single day, just for the range.
It's been a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, we could
Should
have
be
shot
fun.
way more.
could have shot way more.
Um,
I mean, with 4 people there, it's impressive that we shot as much as we did.
That was such
Yeah,
a good
like,
day. We got to do that again.
Like I gained so much from that. Like I was working on stuff from that for weeks afterwards because it was just rapid fire, like technical skill deficits with a real time benchmark. It's like, oh, Jay, Kyle, Dylan did it like this. Like I can't fix this now, but I know I have a concept.
Yeah, we got to bring Ben along next time too. Good old
Oh,
Ben.
Suzuki? Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely. That's our guy.
we really need to do that.
That would be fun. We
Um,
should do it.
yeah, Ben, that was so much fun to shoot with Ben at Area 7 because I had not shot with him prior to that.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like he's obviously one of my favorite people to shoot with. It's just kind of happy go lucky, everything's smooth sailing, just hanging out. Like that's the best.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? He is so super serious.
He is, but he isn't.
That example for me, because I hadn't shot with him at any other match than Area 7, and I feel like Area 7 he was probably more chill
He was pretty
than
chill.
than other
Yeah.
matches
Yeah.
because Saul, you've shot with him a couple times, and Dylan, you have.
Oh, I love that. It's one of my favorite people to shoot with. He's so well prepared and he's so on task. No, I mean like a super pleasant guy. And he's laugh and joke and all that, but he's like you. Like he's there to win.
Yep.
And in that structures how he approaches every stage in every element of every stage, and there are like no giddies and there are no burners, and it's like and they all matter. And like every target, right? Yeah.
My favorite
I mean,
thing
all of it.
is we'll just be chit chatting, and then all of a sudden he's like 3 shooters away, and he goes, "Dude, stop talking to me. Stop." He shoots
Yes,
me away.
you
Like,
know,
I
he'll
love
like wave
that.
your way. He'll be like, "Don't talk to me.
I laugh.
Don't talk to me." I meant.
He's probably done it 20 times to me, and every time I still laugh. Like, it's just Ben. It's awesome.
He'll walk up to me and he'll be like, "Hey, are you still shooting the same plan that we had discussed earlier?" And I'm like, "No, I'm thinking about this other one." He's like, "No, I don't want to hear."
Don't tell me.
But if you're still talking about, if you're still on the same plan, then we can talk because we can talk about the details of the plan.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't tell me.
the times I've gotten myself in the most trouble are the times that I have allowed myself to take shortcuts in preparation, or to deviate in some way from what I usually do.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the best advice I got ever has been from Saul, which I was like, well, so, like, should I really, like, go out and send it on day 3, like, really go for it? And after a little while, Saul was like, well, you could do that. And then we're like driving to the match together, and Saul's like, or you could just shoot like yourself. And I was like, fine, I'll just do that. And it's like that works really well without major deviation. Like, any adjustment can be really, really subtle that is made. At least for me, like, that makes sense. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
agree. We've always kind of talked about it, but shooting like yourself, you got to do it. Just shoot like that. Being said, like this is kind of contradicting to me shooting like myself. I'm a person, and this is why I say I want to find another gear. So when I need to push, I can push. In my brain, it's like if I get second or 10th, I don't really care. So that's why I would love to find that other gear so you can always push yourself. Even if you find yourself down going into day 2, day 3, you have that gear to push. I would love to
Yeah.
find that, but it's hard.
Yeah, no, same.
It's
Absolutely
so hard.
same.
But do you sometimes find it inside a stage anyway? Like, does it just get expressed?
Like, are you saying pushing?
Well, Sal Luna on PSTG a couple of years ago talked about Steel Challenge, and you shot a little bit of Steel Challenge, right, Dylan?
A little bit, yep.
And so if you miss the second plate, so you know, on one of the ones with farther plates, and you miss the second plate, sometimes something snaps in your head, and it just goes ding, ding, ding for the rest of the plates. And you're like, well, why don't I do that every time? But like, there's like a level of skill that can be expressed sometimes, and like there's a trigger for it. And sometimes a mistake triggers it. And not like you go wild. Like, it's just perfect execution at whatever your perfection is. You get perfect execution from that point forward. And like Sal was on that podcast, it's like, this happens sometimes. Like, you have this, in Steel Challenge especially, you have this miss, and then everything goes perfectly. And so then the question is like, well, why don't I just do it
all the time
at that like perfect max speed all the time? It's like, I don't know. I don't know how one conjures that, but that, I think some people who can push successfully, like, they're not trying harder. They're not being more effortful. They're just sort of tapping into something that they know they can do that they weren't doing, that then gets expressed at like absolute max speed.
No, yeah, exactly what you're saying. I don't think I can't remember a time of doing that at all.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, and again, I don't have experience with this as a thing I can tap into, but I think it's a concept versus like, oh, I'm going to try harder in this moment, or I'm going to swing the gun harder, or split harder, or whatever it is.
It would be a cool skill to have. Like, I would love to have that skill, but it's not like that's not like a skill you can go practice. That's the hard part. You know what I mean?
Well, you can, because it's your practice performance. So if you think of your absolute best practice run when everything connected and you were in control, it wasn't like dumb luck. Like, it was a complicated mini stage you set up, and it was just absolutely perfect. And you knew if you shot that at a major, like, you'd blow out the field by 10%. I'm sure you've shot a mini stage like that where it's just perfect, right?
Yeah.
So it's that.
It's that, and I think that the interruption or the lock there is the permission to do that at a match that you feel is important, where you're where you're, you know, in contention to win, and you have to do something, and then there's this disconnect on, well, I know I can do that, but then it's so much easier to put too much on it or put not enough on it,
It's so
and then
hard to do.
you don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to do.
So that's something you struggle with too. Is the same thing. Is finding that next level to push in the event you want to. You're looking at scores. You know you need some points. How do you actually push?
Yeah, and I think that that's where there's probably a lot of value with shooting just matches very frequently and going kind of wild at them all the time.
Which I, I don't know about. I struggle with that. If I go to a match, the competitive nature in me can't get away from wanting to be competitive in the match. Because most of the time you go wild. Most of the time, let's be real, there's a higher chance you're not going to be competitive. You'll throw 4, 5, 6 mics.
Yeah, if you
I
do it
can't
the
do that.
entire
I
match.
struggle with it. Yeah, I struggle. I I can't do it, which is also part of the reason I've actually kind of stopped shooting locals. Is because you go there and you just kind of shoot and chit chat, and you never really go there with like a goal of trying to go faster. You got to do that. Like I only do it in practice now. I don't. In perfect world, like locals is the perfect thing to do that. I can't. I struggle with it. I don't know why.
You're not willing to be beaten by somebody who's never beaten you before because you were working on speed.
Yes,
And I could like name a couple names from your area, and it's like you're not willing to have to read their name to find yours because you wanted to find that hidden gear.
It genuinely bothers me. I'm not gonna lie, and it shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, I mean, same. You know, like
yep,
I definitely get it. Um, and so it's not. Yeah, so it's challenging to do that, but I know that there's value there.
definitely value. I
It's like
couldn't agree more.
hiding. It's hiding value.
Like going
And
to a local and going 100 miles an hour is there's a ton of value in my opinion. It's
yeah, and
just so hard to do.
there's a bunch of people listening that are like, "Oh, I just do that all the time." And you're like, "Well, good for you."
Yeah, but most of
We're
those
jealous.
people aren't winning majors like you two either. Just to be clear.
But I can tell you one thing: we're jealous of that person right now. Like I am envious. You know?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
To like, I mean, I'm sure they care about locals too, but to be able to shift that so much that uh that it would be almost out of your own control, that you would just do that at a local.
Yep. In the
Like,
last couple of locals I've shot, I've even tried to entice Kyle. I'm like, Kyle, raw time challenge. So
yeah, you chicken out, yeah.
but it'll be like, so that will kind of. He's actually said no the past couple of times, which is crazy to me that Kyle says no. But like, if
Well,
he
he
says
doesn't need to
yes,
work on that.
Yeah,
Like that's
Kyle
not an
doesn't.
interesting skill for Kyle Narkham. The interesting skill for Kyle Narkham is this incredible raw skill I have. How can I channel it to ensure that there are two scoring hits on most of the targets?
yes, and I'm sure that's why he says no all the time. But it's like, dang,
Right. But really what it is for
Frank.
you.
Frank is who you need to get to do it because that man is wound tight.
I
He
don't
is
know.
buttoned up.
I'm not sure he would want to do that. It's a
Now, so what
it would
you
be fun between all three of us. Raw time challenge. Loser buys like a burrito or whatever. But we haven't done it, and we should do it.
we should do it.
It would be so much fun. But
Yeah.
will we? Who knows? Probably not.
And to do it at a major match too. You do it at Trident or whatever. I mean, I'll be shooting revolver, but
Are you actually going to shoot revolver?
I'm gonna try to.
That should be a sight to see. I'm squadding with you.
Shoot Saturday then.
Are you shooting staff? If I get to watch you shoot a revolver, I'll shoot staff day. It'd be fun.
I'm gonna try to get a revolver shoot staff day for next year.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
Yeah, Skip will give you his.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Yeah, I'm not. This is not a request for a revolver. I've got it handled. No one message me.
Everyone reach out to Jay.
But you know what Jay is going to find, really, and it's maybe he's different than I think he is, but I don't think he is. I think he's going to get it like a week or two before the match, and it's going to be like pretty fun, and it'll be like a lot of noob games, and then he's going to start caring because he just can't not, and then he's going to start like emotionally investing and succeeding at it, right? And even if he's the only revolver shooter in the match, he's going to try really, really hard. Like, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be like just like shooting carry optics only with a revolver. Because it turns out it's who you are. It's not like the division you sign up in.
I mean, I would have to make it that way. I would have to just like put the gear on the day of.
The morning of. You would have to be handed the gear the morning of. Because even like getting it the day before, you're like, well, let me just get the reloads down. Because that's a big part of revolver.
Yeah,
and then 3 hours later.
Handling the gun safely on a stage for the first time.
Well, it's easy. You open the cylinder and you can point it wherever you want.
Let me get some reload practice on Legos. That's what we'll be seeing. The reload Lego practice.
I'm waiting for him to up his game to concertina wire.
To what?
Yeah. Like razor wire.
Razor wire. That would be way more rough than like glass, because I almost did glass.
That would be crazy.
I still want to do glass.
Just tag the right people in the video.
Yeah.
You know who they are.
Yeah, but those videos get so many views. Your Lego ones are insane.
Yeah, it's because it's because it's a serious activity for getting better at revolver reloads. It's why you must do it.
You must do it. We'll watch. So I will watch.
Sure. All right. I think we got it. I think we covered everything possible. I appreciate you coming on, Dylan. I meant to do this like right after Area 7, but then I don't know what happened. We just got doing things.
Life, work.
Life happens. Life happens. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah. No, these are always fun. There's a couple more I want to do with some other people. And we're gonna have you back on. We gotta have Ben Suzuki back on too.
It was hilarious too to hear from friends like elsewhere, especially in the like Area 8 region. Who's Dylan? Like, how is Dylan winning? I'm like, oh, you guys don't know Dylan? You haven't been paying attention, have you?
Yeah, and if people are still asking how is Dylan winning, it's because Dylan is doing the same thing on every stage for the whole match.
Trying to anyway, right?
Yeah, he's making an attempt to do the same thing.
There we go.
and that's why, because you don't have I don't know, it's just that's sometimes underrated. And it just pays off big time, especially the longer the match is. The hotter the weather is, like all of the factors. Yeah, it just pays off over and over again.
Yeah, area 8 at 93 degrees, 14 stages in a day with no shade. Yeah, that was talking about weather. That was a tough one. By the 13th stage, I'm like, it goes to like that. But it was fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dylan. Thanks all. Thank you, Jeremy and Jeff, for uploading this podcast. If it saves when I hit the button. Anyway, outro here.